Sorry, everybody. We're still working through these technical problems, but we should hopefully be back shortly. Stand with us, please. Mr. Chair, everybody, thank you for your patience. It took us a bit longer than we would have liked, but technology, our favorite. Anyways, Mr. Chair, please, when you're ready, start with the opening remarks.
Thank you, Adam, and thanks for straightening it out as much as we can. We seem to have a technical issue every day. It's just always different. But anyway, good morning, everyone. I'm Stan Kumorika. I'll be chairing the meeting this morning. I'd like to introduce my fellow panel members. On my extreme left, Natalie Popovic. Also on my left, Donald Taylor. On my right, Laura Alderson. And on my further right, Bill Dalton. Good morning. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order as much as we can. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances for the provisions of zoning that applies to property, permissions to extend or alter lawful nonconforming uses, and consents to sever property to create new lots. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Hearing procedures. The Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid and in-person virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person. Others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connected with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time, and hopefully we have the timer working by then. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with a written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. Decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, as the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Board or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the province of Ontario recently amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Okay, our procedure this morning, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. When making your submissions, where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant can proceed with their presentation if they wish. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant, agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. One of the staff or I will comment when you're reaching that 5-minute mark. Any presentation or other material you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at today's hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks and matters outlined to, please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. I'm trying to get through this a little quicker since we lost some time, but that works against me. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make the presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposal at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Individuals either in support or opposition to the application will be invited to speak next. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those online. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker, then after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers have finished, the applicant has an opportunity to rebut only those issues which were raised by the previous speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. That is our preliminary intro, and we will start the actual agenda of the meeting now. So first off, could I have a motion to confirm the minutes from the previous hearing?
I'm happy to make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. Seconder?
I will second.
Ms. Popovic, all in favor? Approved, thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest for any of the properties on this morning's agenda, either by staff or by committee members? No, thank you. And sorry, I negated to introduce Philip Calvarano, our Carvanero. Sorry. Phil, who's our secretary treasurer today, and Phil's staff, who have been diligently trying to get timers and other things working. Phil, do we have any files to be closed or any deferrals? Thank you, sir. So we can actually start at the top of the agenda. So we have item 1, which is 27 HOMEVIEW Avenue. This is an application to legalize and maintain a 1-story addition. There is one variance being requested related to parking. Transportation has provided us a report saying they're okay. Metrolinx has advisory comments, and we have one objection letter on file at number 31, and we have a support petition with a number of signatures on it. And the speaker is Oscar Robrew. I'm going to butcher this one as well, so I'm just going to say Mr. Oscar. And I believe, is he in person or?
Mr. Chair, yes, they are in person. And then there is an area resident also in person on your list.
Thank you. Yes, just added.
Awesome.
Okay, super. Sir, if you'd like to come up.
And just as to Oscar and everybody else, you'll need to engage the button on the microphone stand in order to speak.
Good. Test. There you go.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple application of a variance of the parking. Our house has a lot of parking spot. Actually, technically, there's a driveway beside the house that we're not using. I could easily park 5 cars there all the way to the backyard. But we're only requesting the variance to the front where we park our car. That's simply it. We filed all the documentation supporting it. We also have in file 7 non-objection letters from neighbors. We actually received another one yesterday night, which unfortunately I could not file it. And it's to maintain the house like you can see around the street, everyone parks in the front of the house. That's pretty much what we want to accomplish. So, short of 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple of quick questions. The one-story addition that, because the variance is with regard to the parking, but the addition is that the wooden structure that we see next to the house?
Yes, that's a wall there that was to prevent animals to go to the back.
Okay. And we have Anna, I believe, is here as well to speak to this. So
Yes.
if I can get her to come up, and then
Sure,
we'll have you come back.
Pardon?
We'll have you come back after she speaks.
Of course.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome.
morning. My name is MADILL, and I'm with my wife. We are neighbors to Mr. Oscar, and there is no 29 HOMEVIEW Avenue, hence.
We figured that out.
I know. So we are opposed to the current version of this project because for two main reasons. It may be an infringement to our property rights, and the proposal is not desirable for the use of our own property, and there is a fire hazard that I will explain maybe now. We assume that according to the Canadian law, property lines are seen on a survey done in 1972 that we have a copy of and you have a copy of it, cannot be changed with a newer survey. If in the future, for any reason, we decide to sell our house, the potential buyer can have questions regarding unresolved property rights, then can require to lower the price, or they can withdraw from the transaction. Who will compensate our losses? That's the main question. When our neighbors were doing their own survey, they didn't want to consult the survey mentioned that we have, and we offered them to do so. They didn't want to use an original survey poll either. And we have a poll on our property that, according to our neighbors, is an original survey poll. So we have concerns that the survey and the plan presented to the City of Toronto by our neighbors and their agent don't reflect property boundaries as they are. When we bought our house in 2010, our lawyer didn't find any information regarding property dispute with the neighbor, who lived back then at 27 HOMEVIEW Avenue and or her family. The owner of 27 HOMEVIEW Avenue, whom we would talk to almost every day before she moved out, never mentioned any property dispute either. And there was no information available of an acquisitive prescription or adverse prescription of any part of our property either. So, and our neighbors at 27 HOMEVIEW Avenue never asked us to sell them any part of our property. So there is a problem. This is detailed in our...
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yes.
I think I want to clarify what the issue really is here, because your issue really isn't whether he parks there or not. Your issue is the way he's put the addition against your property.
It's the addition against our wall that's a fire hazard. The property lines that were used to present this plan, we are afraid that they are not exactly within the boundaries.
Well, I would tend to agree with you on that, but unfortunately that's not what we can deal with here, because looking at the photo of that addition, it goes under your eaves.
Yes.
And typically, your eaves are on your own property. So my first reaction, and looking at the survey that I have here, it would appear that it's crossed the property line, which I'll be asking your neighbor about that when he comes back up. But I just wanted to get from you your concerns, whether they have to do with the parking space or whether they have to do with the...
Of course. So, well, as you know, we mentioned also the fire hazard, but you know the detailed description of it. And our neighbors use this addition as a yard for any kind of things. The parking space there is a problem with parking 2 cars on this driveway, and we see it every day. So we have nothing against 1 parking spot. We understand that people have to park their cars somewhere, but seeing every day 2 cars just behind our bedroom wall, just behind our home office wall, that's something that is it's a safety concern. So as we mentioned, we are not opposed to the project in general. We are opposed to the current version of this project, and we believe that some adjustments should be done to it.
Okay. I'm going to try to split hairs here because unfortunately, what we consider are only the variances, but I think you have a building code issue beef with your neighbor. And there's a separate venue for dealing with that.
I understand that. We tried to solve this issue, but,
Okay.
The main thing, our neighbor never asked us for any letter of support, which is a very significant thing if you deal with your direct neighbor.
Well, we can't, it's,
No, we wanted
your
to
neighbor
voice...
has made the choice that he's made. That's all I can say.
We wanted to voice our concerns. You have the detailed description in the file.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. If I can get Oscar to come back up, please. Sorry, okay. Hold on a sec, hold on. Online or in person? Oh, okay, is there anyone else that wants to speak to this before? Okay, because he's not on my list, so that's why I'm confused about that. Okay, thank you. Or I should have asked, do the panel members have any questions for Anna, please, first? No? Okay, sorry. Okay, before you get into it, is there an order? Yeah, there was an order to comply on this, right?
Yes.
And so you're going to have to go back for building permit once you get approved. Should you get approval
Yes.
here?
Yes.
And you understand that if you go back for building permit, you're going to have to show drawings that contain your structure within your property.
Yes.
You cannot cross over the property line.
Yes, we actually filed that documentation with this committee.
Sorry?
We filed that documentation with this committee already. It's there. The plan is there.
Yeah, the plan is there, but I guess what I'm saying is the plan doesn't look like the picture of the reality. So maybe you can explain that.
No, it was a survey, so even the property lines, it was a request from the city to have an updated one.
Yep.
And we hired a firm, and we paid for having a legal value as requested by the city. And then we did a survey of the current structure, and it is in those files that we filed.
Okay, so
as is.
the survey that you have, that you submitted to us,
Yes, correct.
does that reflect the current structure?
No. Sorry, can't see it.
That's the survey that you submitted, correct?
Correct.
Does that reflect the current structure?
No.
No. So that
Just the
survey,
second drawing.
okay. And I just, before we leave that survey, I just note that on that survey, there is a gap between the property line and your neighbor's house, correct?
Correct.
But that distance wasn't measured on this survey. So I guess the question is, where's the gap?
There is a gap underneath that wall that was to avoid animals to go to the back, but the fence itself actually is into our property. The columns, everything is on our property.
Okay, so do you, so you don't,
Actually, there you go. You can see in that picture, The columns on the left side, all of them are in our property. So it's only the front facade that is enclosed to the house, more to avoid any animals to go to the backyard.
I see.
Both locations. So it's a simple saw and cut 6 inches, which that's why I wanted this to be done over with and fix some of the concerns that our neighbors have, which some of them are legitimate, and we want to be good neighbors, especially about snow and water collection. We're just waiting for this so we can finalize all the work.
Okay, so we don't have a survey showing the current structure then?
I think it was filed. Honestly, I used an architect to do this. So he told me everything was filed. Let me see if I have a copy here.
Mr. Chair, we'll look to put the survey or the site plan up for
Okay,
you.
that's fine. In the meantime, perhaps you can address the parking concerns that your neighbors raised.
The parking concerns? We have more parking than anyone else in the street. So I don't understand where the park concerns are. Everyone now only has a space for 1 car. We're lucky enough of having space for 2 cars. It's not used most of the time because we're working. It's only at night, and that's it.
Okay. So you're parking in the back, like you're driving through this structure? Or
No.
you're parking in front?
There's space for more than 2 cars actually in the front.
Okay.
So from that fence that you see, because it's too narrow, but if I had a smaller car, I could park all the way to the fence. It would be almost 3 cars, if not 3 cars.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. That's
Oh, okay, there is.
a survey.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we were just having a bit of lag issue with our, sometimes it happens.
It's going to be a long day.
We'll get there.
Okay, so essentially you're saying that the structure is on your property, but what you've done at the front is you've just put in some boards crossing the property
Just
line
to, yes, it can be removed.
in order to prevent animals.
It can be removed anytime. As soon as I have the permit and adjustment will be removed right away.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions? Or?
I do. So you just mentioned that portion that directly abuts the neighbor's home can be removed. Have you asked the neighbor whether that would satisfy her?
No, unfortunately, the communications were cut off last year with the neighbors. Things didn't go that well. I was quite sick in the hospital, in and out, and then I got notifications of the complaint. So.
Because looking at it on Street View, it looks like it abuts the neighbor's home and clearly violates the property lines, from what I can see.
It can be cut, yes. It's a simple wood panel. That's what you see there. Because the pictures from the back, as you saw, and even this survey, all this structure, it's in our property. And all of it is detached from the house, so there's no anchors to the house, nothing.
Okay, anyone else? Questions? No? Okay, so what's before us is not the property issue, but I think that's something that you need, you have to resolve in a different way. What we're being asked is whether we will permit the addition, and the addition apparently complies with everything other than the parking space. So what's before us is whether we're okay with the parking being in the front yard. as opposed to the side. And this is from a Committee of Adjustment Planning perspective, a very simple, straightforward application. Unfortunately, it has some other undertone issues. So I leave that. Thank you, sir. We'll
Thank
just
you.
take that to committee.
Thank you so much.
Any questions for anyone else, or no?
If I may, Mr. Chair, just a comment. Much of the last 20 minutes could have been avoided if the purpose of the application could have been accurately stated. The purpose is to legalize and to maintain a one-story west side addition. That is not the purpose of this application, and it's caused a lot of confusion. And should this application be approved, I just think it's important to note that our approval has nothing to do with legalizing and maintaining the addition. That's a building permit issue dealt with, as the chair indicated, in another process. So again, our decision is based on the variance requested, which is strictly and solely about front yard parking.
Through you, Mr. Chair, is that direction to staff to change the purpose of the application and the decision in the minutes?
I would suggest that that would be wise and preferable, yes.
I think it would help to clarify, because it looks like we're legalizing something that on the surface we don't want to legalize. But what we're being asked is to approve a variance, which I don't think we have a problem with. We have a problem with the addition, but that's not what's really before us. So it's kind of
The variance is triggered by the addition forcing the car to be parked in the front.
understood.
So we will take that direction once we get the motion and amend the decision and minutes.
Yeah, and then I guess, you know, in the minutes, we would like it to be reflected that the process needs to be followed through buildings to, you know, to facilitate a legal issuance for that. Yeah. After all of that, I want, if anyone else is completely confused, I can understand. But if anyone is not and they can do a motion, I'd be welcoming that.
I'll take a stab, Mr. Chair, in a motion if my colleagues are okay with that. Yeah, I find, again, focusing on the matter before us, which is a parking space issue, very minor, no agency objections, meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act. I would move approval subject to changing the wording of the purpose of the application to accurately reflect the variance that is requested. Is that sufficient, Philip? Okay, thank you. So that would be my motion. Approval without conditions.
Thank you,
And an amendment to the purpose.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor, and I believe there are no conditions. Is there a seconder? Bill, thank you. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, passes on a split decision. Thank you. And I just, a footnote for the applicant, with regards to legal parking spots. Everyone does it, but technically, if you're past the property line on the boulevard, that's not a legal parking spot. So I think you're winding up with 1 legal parking spot. You're not necessarily 2. But anyway.
And can you give some guidance to the neighbor? What her next steps are? If you wish to do so, but please don't take too long on it. Just thinking you would.
No, well, I think we already did.
You covered that up.
I think we covered that up. So anyway, thank you. So our next item, item 2, 97 Dunedin Drive. This is an application for a new garage and a partial 2nd-story addition. There are 2 variances being requested. It was an arborist report on file, and you have no other departments chiming in. Speaker, Tomas Goral.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Chair and community. Chair and community. My name is Thomas Gural. I'm the agent for the owners at the project at hand. Would you like a presentation?
Not sure. I don't think we need a full presentation. We don't have anyone here in opposition. I have one question, if I may, and then maybe I'll just turn it over to, if you want to just do a brief overview, and then if there's, if any of the other panel members have questions. My question is the garage going to be used as parking?
Correct, yes. It will be used as parking.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions, or?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Sir, could you tell us what the existing north side yard is? The existing house?
The north side.
I just
Where
want
would be?
I just want to understand where this variance is coming from. Is it because it's an existing situation? Like it's quite a. I'll tell you, in my view, it's quite a dramatic change.
Okay, yeah. So basically,
1.2 meters is required, and you're proposing 0.55. Oftentimes, that's because the existing house is 0.55 from the north side lot line. I would just like confirmation that that is the case here, or are you in fact intentionally encroaching on the north side lot line?
No, so if there are drawings there, we can, if the panel member or the one in control of the drawings scrolls to the existing plans, there is an existing garage, it shows all the dimensions, and we are keeping the existing garage, building over the garage, and there's also an existing addition in the back, and we're building over that as well. You can
I understand all that. I'm just,
yeah.
I fully understand the nature of your application and what you're requesting.
Okay.
I just want you to confirm for us, what is the existing north side lot line?
The existing the worst case scenario is 0.55 because further down the garage is 0.58 and then the addition in the back is 0.9. So we're asking for the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is 0.55 and that's an existing condition and we're building over that existing condition.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Nope. Is someone ready for, is there anyone in the room to speak to this issue? No. And we have no one online, so take it into committee if anyone's ready for a motion.
I'll move a motion. I think the application meets the 4 tests and vote approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Laura. All in favor? Okay, it's a unanimous approval. Thank you, Tomas. Our next application is 57 Scarlett Road. This is an application to legalize and maintain an existing dwelling in the basement. There are 2 variances being requested. Transportation has chimed in as okay. Metrolinx has advisory comments. Again, this is a situation where we have an order to comply. And we have the owner is the speaker, and I believe they're here in person. Sir, please come up.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nuri. Just I bought this house almost 12 years, fully basement finish.
Okay, just want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Is the unit currently occupied?
No,
No.
no tenant.
Okay. And I couldn't tell from the drawings if there are any windows or not.
No window.
No windows.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do legalize to make 2 windows.
So in order to legalize, you understand that you're
Yes,
going to
Mike.
have to provide windows through doing window wells and all that kind of thing.
Correct.
Okay. Do you want to give us just a really brief overview? I don't think we need a full presentation.
No.
Okay.
Just make it legalized, that's it.
Okay, so it's a finished basement.
Everything finished, fully washroom, kitchen, everything.
Okay. What triggered the order to comply?
So, say it again?
What triggered the order to comply? How does it that the how did an inspector trigger the order to, like, why were you issued an order to comply?
I got from city, just one paper that says, are you doing something right? So, and then I said no. And then
So were you working, like doing work on it?
no, nothing at all. Nothing, just to make legalize.
Just curious how that came about. But anyway, is that in our added materials? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just.
Mr. Chair, it's also up on your screen for your review now.
Oh, I got it. I just took a few clicks to get to it. Okay, yeah, hard to tell. It doesn't really matter.
Sure.
Okay, so what we have before us is a basement apartment potential. You'd like to legalize it. We need to approve it before you do that. Then we go through the building permit application process. So you're aware of that.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions from anyone else?
Yeah, I do, Mr. Chair. On that building permit application question, I'm just reading the order to comply, and it says that the required action from the building department is that you obtain a building permit for the unauthorized construction by September the 28th, 2023. Alternatively, revert the property back to duplex units. So have you in fact got the building permit?
No.
Okay, I guess. Okay.
But-
Yeah.
But I also have an additional question. If this order to comply was issued on August 23rd, what's taken so long to get to us?
Well, I seen in my neighbor, most of them they have apartment, and then I decide why not? Why don't I apply for a permit? That's the reason.
And you have put no windows into this unit.
But I had no window before. No, I didn't.
Okay.
To put window, just to put to get the permit first. That's when I decide.
I have a quick question, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Sir, what, if you are prepared to tell us, what is your intention for this unit? Is it going to be a rental unit or some other personal use?
Rental unit.
You're going to have a rental.
Apartment.
Yeah, I think just to clarify, I think we had some discussion around this previously. He can't apply for a building permit until he gets the variances granted here. Granting these variances may or may not trigger additional variances when he goes for building permit, which I'm not sure if he's aware of or not, but that's potentially the process. So.
So,
Yeah. Well, September, wasn't it?
I did apply for permit for apartment, for basement.
You applied.
I did apply.
Yeah, he went applied and was turned down because of the variance, because
no window.
he needs the variances first.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Can't speak to that. Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So that's what we have before us. I mean, in way of discussion, I think, the city is obviously in need of additional rental housing. Going through the building permit process at least assures that fire code and other issues are addressed. So that's not up to us. It's up to us whether we want to permit the use of that building as a 3-unit building. Anyone ready for a motion or any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, I'm prepared to bring a motion. I believe on balance, given the, I can use the term somewhat circular process that we're looking at, and the consideration of the 4 tests, and as an additional point, the addition, presumably, of more rental housing are all positive aspects, and I propose a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr.
Excuse me, I'm not aware of any conditions imposed by staff.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Popovic. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Mr. Dalton, all in favor? Okay, you have unanimous approval. Thank you. You can try to get your building permit now.
Yeah.
Okay, item 4, 10 Warbeck Place. This is a application for a garden suite in the rear yard. There were originally 4 variances being sought. It has been revised down to 3. Forestry is asking for a deferral, or I think they've chimed in since then and are now saying that if we don't defer to impose conditions 1 and 2. We have a couple of objectors, both on which are immediate neighbor. Well, one is an immediate neighbor, and then the one next to that, and there's a support petition with some people in support as well. And Eddie Perez, I believe, is the agent, and I don't see him here, so I'm assuming he is online. Mr. Perez, are you with us?
Well, hi, good morning, Chairman and committee members. I'm Eddie Perez. We're at 537 Rogers Road. And as you said, 1 variance was removed. We now have 2 variances. Well, because the neighbor had said that they had some concerns with, so we moved the garden suite to the middle of the property, where before we had 1.53 meters on that side. We now have 3.2 meters, so it's farther away and a lot less impact on the neighbors now. And we also dealt with planning, and planning had objections with the garage doors facing Kipling, so we removed them from Kipling. There's no longer any access from Kipling, so there won't be any damage at all to the city tree now, because there won't be any driveway there.
Right.
So now, and also on the committee letter, the variance number 1, there must have been a typo, because they put the 7 in front. It's actually 64.71 meters, not 67.41. It was a typo. On the notice, it's correct, but on the letter sent out, it wasn't. It's 64.71.
What was on the notice that went out?
The notice that was sent out is 67.1, but it was supposed to be 64.71. They flipped the 4 and the 7. But on our zoning notice, it's 64.71, and that's the actual size.
Okay, and the notice, sorry, Eddie, again, was 67.
Transposition?
Yeah, the zoning examiner's notice was 64.71. But when they sent it out for the committee, it was a typo. They put 67.41.
Mm-hmm.
It's less now. It's 64.71.
Oh, it's 64. I got it. Sorry. I got it.
Yeah, it's less.
Okay.
Yes, they switched the numbers.
Yeah, got it. So you're actually only asking for a variance of 4.7 meters.
That's correct.
Perfect. So we can amend that to reflect that. Okay, is there anything else you want to mention before we, I believe there is another speaker online.
Yeah, like I said, this is very minor in nature, and I'll see what the neighbor has to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And do we have the neighbor online, or?
We do, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, before I do that, is there anyone in the room to speak to this item? No? Okay. Sorry, Adam.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you. Yes, good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to speak and to ask my questions. My name is Han Doi, and I live at number 8 Warbeck Place. That's adjacent to number 10 Warbeck to the north side.
Okay.
I have already submitted my letter of objections. I won't be repeating myself too much.
Okay, just given that they've
Yes.
made some amendments, do your objections still stand, or given that they've changed,
Yes.
they've centered it, and they're no longer accessing from Kipling, and the change and the reductions that were made?
Yes, so my objections are still basically based on the 3 remaining variances or variance items there.
Okay.
So, okay, so mainly, the first one, I object to having the increase in the size, even though it may seem minor, but the fact that if there is an increase to the paved surface or hard surface, there are going to be more storm water runoffs into the sewer system. I tried to look up the environmental assessment studies, but there's none for this area. But we already know about the 2013 storm, which if anybody looks up that there was 126 millimeter of rainfalls that was recorded at the Toronto Pearson Airport. That's about 6 to 7 kilometers from here. And the 2019 storm, which is less well known, but it also had more than 90 millimeter of rainfalls. And that caused all the street flooding at the 401. And you can see in my letter that there are pictures of cars being submerged in the storm water.
Ma'am, flooding was
So-
definitely it was definitely a problem in that area. However,
Yes.
the applicant is not requesting a variance for lot coverage, only for gross floor area. So we can't really
Yes.
deny this based on, on flooding rationale.
I'm just asking because there's an increase to the hard surface that he's asking, right? The
Well, I understand.
bylaw states that it's 60.
And what I'm saying is that this application meets the tests for the maximum hard surface provided. So there's no variance for it.
Sorry, it says that it's 64.71 meters square instead of the 60. Isn't that one of the costs there?
That's
That the variance is asking to.
No, that's a floor space index variance. It's not a lot coverage variance, and it would be, and there's no reduction in landscaping being asked for.
I thought that's an increase in the area. So anyways, okay, so I'm going to go to the next point, which with the increase in the height, there will be privacy issue. As I also demonstrated in my letter at the end, that when it's raised to 6 meters, anyone on the second floor might be able to look through the windows and can see into my backyard. We can skip the math, and if you look at one of the photos where I can see the trees that were cut down from the rear end line or the rear lot line, number 1, 2, 3, right there, the spruces. If I can see that from my back door or my back window, then it means that anybody along that line would be able to see into my backyard and my house as well. So that's the privacy issue. I just would like to raise if there would be something to address that. So my third concern is regarding the the young red maple tree that would be cut down in the plan, right? It's not here. This one has already been removed, so I guess I don't know what can be done about that. But with the other one, if you look at the lot plan proposal, there's a red maple at the northeast corner where it will be cut down to make room for the garden suites, right? There have already been too many trees removed, so I'm just concerned if that tree is going to be cut down again, if it's going to be replanted, relocated, because the Toronto official plan actually stresses that, you know, we want more tree planted and grown to maturity, and yet trees are constantly being cut down just to make room for this. Even if I planted trees today, but a couple of weeks later, I decide to put, you know, a shed, a gazebo, and then I cut down the trees again. There's no concern for the trees, the environment, the people, or the neighborhood. So that's outlining my concerns and some of the issues that were raised. So I do have a petition at the end where some of the neighbors, as well as the pedestrian using the sidewalk.
Okay, you're over your 5 minutes, but because I
Yes.
interrupted you, I'm going to let you wrap up if you would like, please.
Yes, so in the petition, there are concerns that were raised from other people as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from panel members for the deputant? No? Okay.
I have one, Mr.
Hold on.
Chair. Yes, ma'am. I'm just looking at the plans that were submitted with the application. You mentioned an overlook issue with respect to windows overlooking your property. I'm presuming the wall that would concern you would be its north wall, because you are north of number 10, correct?
Yes.
And the north elevation that I'm looking at has no windows whatsoever on that wall.
That is correct, but there are windows to the east wall. So there are at least 3 windows, and then that would.
Oh, I see. So a
you
window
don't look directly
would look at your property on an angle, not
Yes,
directly
yes.
into your yard. No. Okay. I just wanted to have that clarified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, Mr. Perez, if you could come back to address the deputant's concerns. Is there anyone? There's no one else online, right?
No, Mr. Chair, that was the only area resident that is interested in speaking.
Okay, Mr. Perez?
I'll bring Eddie back one moment, Mr. Chair. Eddie, go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, hi, how are you? Also, for one of the points was about drainage, and that we're going to need a grading plan with the building department. And around the garden suite, it's all soft landscaping, and we're more than 3 meters away from her property. So it'll all drain on the soft surface. It should be okay with that. Plus, like I said, we'll be getting a grading plan and applying with it to the building department as well. And as per the windows, one of the windows is a bedroom window, one is a small kitchen window, and then the other one is in the staircase area. So it won't be infringing on her privacy whatsoever, in my opinion. It's very minor, and that's why we pushed the house away, and then we put the angles, and we're like 3.2 meters away. We're almost like 11 feet away, or 3.2 meters, which is very substantial. So I feel that our application is minor in nature, and it meets the 4 tests. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Perez from panel members? No?
I have one question.
Okay.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Agent, the forestry memo dated March 19th, 2024 indicates that they request a deferral of this application until the owner applicant provides necessary information to confirm bylaw tree protections. Can you advise if this has been done?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a arborist taking care of all this, and now it's a lot better because we don't have the city tree being affected whatsoever. So it changed a little bit since we revised the drawings, but I have Robert from Arbor Street. He's taking care of all these items, so, and we're gonna address anything that the city needs for forestry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I believe forestry is now requesting conditions 1 and 2, should there be an approval.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
I'm happy to make a motion.
please.
We need these types of structures in our city, and so I'm happy to support this motion for approval. I'm also happy that the applicant reduced or eliminated the angular plane variance and moved for approval subject to urban forestry conditions 1 and 2.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Okay, Bill, all in favor? Okay, it's unanimous approval. Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. You guys up for a break, or do we keep going? Okay, consensus is to keep going. So number 5, item 5 is 63 Lothian Avenue. This is an application to legalize and maintain a second floor rear platform. There is one variance being requested, and that has to do with the size of the platform. We have on file the order to comply and a support petition with a number of signatures. Our speaker is Addison Milne Price, and he's already at the microphone, so we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair, fellow committee members. Addison Milne Price. Is it not on? Oh, there we go. Turned it off when I came up instead of on. So I'll just state for the record, my name is Addison Milne Price, a planner at Design Plan Services located at 900 the East Mall, Suite 300. The application before the committee today seeks to legalize and maintain a second-story rear platform, which, as the chair stated, requires one variance for platform size. I'll note that no city department or external agency, including city planning, has indicated any concern with this application, and no member of the public has made any submission in objection to this proposal. In fact, we, as stated, have a petition of support from 5 adjacent neighbors, including 3 rear neighbors. And I'll also point out that through our consultations with planning staff requested a revised plan showing privacy screens on either side of the platform. We have provided this plan, and those plans are dated February 27th. I'll just note again that this revised plan didn't alter the proposed variance in any way. Now, the proposed area of this rear deck matches the existing area of the rooftop above the one-story extension to the rear. The deck will not increase the area of the rooftop in any way and will only convert the existing roof area into usable amenity space. I'll also point out that there are existing platforms or decks above the second floor with an area similar to or larger than the proposed deck on properties that are within this neighborhood, including 44 Lothian Ave at 11.51 square meters, 19 Spring Garden Road at 19.3 square meters, and 45 Gardenvale Road at 21.5 square meters. I also want to make a point about the existing dwelling. The existing FSI of this house is quite below what is permitted as of right, coming in at approximately 0.2 the lot area, whereas 0.45 is permitted as of right. The existing building length is similarly below to what is permitted as of right, and you can see that on the site plan that is on the screen now. You may note as well that upon reviewing the drawings, the one-story portion subject to this application does not extend as far as the neighbor to the north, 61 Lothian Drive. And the implication of all of this is that a second story could be constructed as of right in the place of the proposed platform. And as such, the impacts of this variance are therefore much less than what would be permitted by any as of right construction on this second story. That concludes my presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. I'm assuming there's no one else here to speak to this. Any questions from panel members?
I do have a question. So on the petition of support, I think there was one person that wrote that they don't want a privacy screen. So what is the position of your client right now? Privacy screen, no privacy screen? What is the what does everyone want?
Thank you for the question. Through you, Mr. Chair, my client is satisfied with having privacy screens and believes it's a fair compromise that's requested by planning staff. I'll note that there is no condition from planning staff. Of course, the impact of a second story addition in the place of this rear platform would probably be more impactful than the privacy screens. It is always a balance of interests, whether you have a privacy screen or not. However, I would state that my clients are satisfied with the privacy screen and intend to construct them as requested by planning staff.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Milne Price. No one else? Okay. We'll take it into committee then. Thank you, sir. Anyone ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Can you give us a little bit of a background?
Sure. I think it meets the 4 tests. There are no conditions on it. It sounds like the applicant has worked closely with city staff to resolve any impacts, and on that basis, I think it should be approved.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Seconder?
I'll second.
Ms. Popovic, all in favor? Okay, you have unanimous approval. Thank you. Okay, our next application is 19 2nd Street. This is an application to construct a 2-story rear addition and a 2nd-story addition above the existing dwelling. There were originally 4 variances being requested. There are now 3, one of which has been reduced. There are transportation has advisory comments. There is a support petition, and forestry is requesting refusal or forestry condition 1. And Peter Mays is the registered owner or speaker, and I believe he's online. Peter, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yes. Welcome. Thank you.
If you can give us a brief overview, I don't think we need a full presentation.
Yeah, just requesting 3 variances, one for eaves encroachment, going to 0.1, one for FSI, reducing from 0.81 to 0.77, and one to reduce the front yard setback from 0.44 to 3.78 meters.
Okay, can you?
Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. If you could comment a little bit on forestry, just so we can get some clarity on that and their concerns.
Yeah, forestry is claiming that I've encroached, or the project will encroach into a tree protection zone. I have actually hired and retained an arborist, and they've come to the site and they've done an assessment, and they have provided a report, which was provided after the submission deadline, stating that there is no encroachment and there will be no impact to the tree protection zone, and there is no harm done to the tree. So the arborist is basically saying the complaint or objection by forestry has no merit based on current site conditions and on the proposal.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions?
I do, Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
Mr. Agent, on that basis, or Mr. Owner, on that basis of the arborist report, which I'm looking at my materials, I may have missed it. I don't see it. But my question is, have you had thank you. Have you had follow-up discussions with the forestry department?
I've submitted the information to forestry. Again, the timing was an issue on this because forestry provided their objection on the last day. Then I retained an arborist. I've talked to forestry in terms of compliance, and they basically said, make sure the tree protection zone is as it should be. But the objection came in, and there was nothing that could be done to really refute it prior to the hearing. I did bring in the arborist, though, to provide this information, so I could provide it to you at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? And there's no one here to speak to this other than the applicant? No?
No one online, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So we'll take it into committee, and if anyone's ready for a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm satisfied this application meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act, and I move approval subject to urban forestry condition 1.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Do you have a seconder? Thank you. All in favor? Okay, we have unanimous approval. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I know you brought up break a bit ago, but in advance of item number 7 with a number of area residents that want to speak, maybe now is a good time for a quick break?
I was thinking that now would be.
Maybe let's do
Yeah, I mean,
a break then, Mr. Chair, and maybe we'll return at 11:05.
Perfect.
15 minutes, 11:05, well, 14 minutes, I apologize. But
Okay.
thank you, everybody. We'll be back at 11:05.
What's that? Sorry.
Hello, hello.
I'll get started, Mr. Chair. We'll look to get started now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome back. Everyone, we're at item 7 as our next agenda item. This is 54 LOVILLA Boulevard, and this is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage and a new garden suite in the rear yard. This application was posted as having 15 variances. A number of them have now been removed. So we are down to 9 variances, and 4 of those 9 have now been also reduced. So we have some substantial revisions to the original application. Forestry is requesting condition 3, and transportation is requesting 3 conditions of approval should we approve. We have objection letters on file for number 52 and number 23. Walsley, and that's it. We have the owner as the applicant, Saverino Pasquale. Welcome.
Saverino Pasquale, thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning. Are you okay now? Perfect. Saverino Pasquale, thank you much. Good morning, committee members. I'm applying for a committee of adjustment for 2 parts. Apparently, there's 1 part for the main house and 1 part for the garden suite. Originally, when the notice was sent out on or before March 18th, there were 15 variances. Planning department contacted me and said, no, we don't like that. We got to change a few things. I go, fine. What is it you want to change? Height of the building of the garden suite, and also the roof height, and the side yard setbacks. I go, great, no problem. I can do that. I revised it. They call me back a few days later. Go, no, we want more variances. I go, okay, what do you want? And basically, they wanted the garden suite flipped because the north side was a flat wall, 6 meter. They're going to offend the neighbor. I go, fine. I don't want to offend any neighbors here. Let's flip it. And then you'll see that the vertical wall was facing the house. And the 45-degree angular plane at a 4 meter height was to the north side. Okay. So I looked at it and go, well, I'm going to have a flat wall in front of me. Let me do an angular plane facing the house. And that's my waiver, is removing that 3AI, I believe, that sentence. So that waiver was eliminated. So I receive, going on the website, I see letters of opposition. I go, well, okay, let me get my support. So I got 5 support neighbors. 51 and 53 are supporting me. Okay, they didn't want to sign anything, which was fine, but at the door they said they're okay with it. And I have 3 neighbors. Number 45, which is a brand new build. Number 56 and 55. 55, 51, 53 are one in the middle and one on either side directly in front of me. And 56 is to the west of me. So I'm not going to go through all these variances. You read it, so I know you're on a timeline. So basically, talking with planning, we agreed. They didn't issue a staff report because they're happy with the variances. Basically, I was at 11.5. We negotiated 10.9, and then they called me back at 10.6. So, I was okay with that. I was trying to appease everybody on the neighborhood and the planning department. So that's where I am right now. So I believe these are minor in nature, and hopefully that you'll approve it based on these variances.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Don't go away.
No, I won't.
Any questions from panel members? No? Okay, yeah, as I was saying earlier, it's substantial revisions to the original application.
Yeah, I was trying to work with the planning and with the neighborhoods. Basically, I
Absolutely.
did my design and there was issue. I go, fine, I don't want to.
You may not be done yet because some of the neighbors who are online wanting to speak may be addressing your original application, so you're going to have to clarify that. So
Okay.
We'll get you to stand down for a minute and we'll see who else is here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
So do we have people, we have in person.
Mr. Chair, we have both in-person and virtual. So what would you like to do first?
I'd like to do the people in person, so.
Perfect.
Yvonne D'Angelo, I believe, and Mario D'Angelo.
Correct. Yvonne was the one that is here to speak. She'll come up first. And then also we have Jasdeep, who is here to speak. Perfect. Yeah, he's also.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning. How are you? Hope everybody is gonna be looking forward to a nice long weekend.
Trying to.
We have my husband and I, my husband is unable to attend this morning due to work at the Rogers Center, getting it ready for the Jays to come home. We do have a couple of issues now. I understand from hearing Mr. Severino, or Mr. Pasqualino, discussing with you that revisions were made, but none of the neighbors received any of those revisions. So I'm only going by the original.
That's what we figured, yeah.
Okay, is there any way that we're gonna be able to get copies of all of these revisions that apparently have taken place?
Can we post the revised notice, or would you like to see the notice or the drawings?
Both would be nice, if that's okay, if they're available. If not, I'm just gonna go with what I've handed in.
Mr. Chair, we can put them up on the screen, obviously.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I agree. So-
It's not gonna cause any issues.
And the revised plans and revised waiver and everything is also on AIC.
Sorry, is on,
So, Mr. Chair, we'll have.
okay.
Mr. Chair, we'll have the public notice up on the screen right now for the agent to review, or the area resident to review. You'll notice that the items that have been crossed off in red are removed. Items highlighted in yellow have been altered.
Reduced.
And we will look to, we can put the site plan up in a moment once we review these. And then additionally, if you do need copies and would like them, reach out to the application technician listed on your public notice.
Okay.
And have them, and they will email you a copy of the
Okay, I
most
appreciate
up-to-date
that.
plans.
Thank you very much.
You might want to just hit your highlight points for what your concerns were, and then we can
Right,
see if
okay.
if they've already been addressed or if
A
not.
lot of the concern is for the garden suite.
Yep.
I mean, it is concerning about the size of that dwelling as well on the small property. But the original structure is on a hill. So his property is up here, and he comes down like this into his backyard. That goes towards the property line. There's nowhere in any of his drawings does he indicate that there's an easement, a water easement, which facilitates water being drained from the school to the east of us and goes all the way down to Weston Road into the major catch basin down there. So that easement it causes the land around there to be very soft, okay? Because of all the amount of water that goes through there. So nowhere on any of his indicated plans does it show that there's an easement back there, nor a pole that has lines that go from
Telephone
one end
lines?
to the other end, okay? With that garden home being placed so close to the fence, we're concerned that it's going to cause issue to the property that's back there that is around the easement. Plus, it's also a privacy issue. That close to the fence means I can't be outside in the backyard, that deep into my backyard if I want to sunbait, or if I want to have people over and I'm going to have living renters being in that garden suite, being close to watching what's going on in my property, okay? The other thing is that trees were all chopped down in the backyard. Mature trees. I think that those trees should have been left up and taken care of, maybe being snipped back instead of totally being destroyed and taken down. Makes the property look unkept. And the fact that it is close to our property, neighboring properties, the easement and that pole which houses all those lines, that's a major concern for us. And the privacy issue is is also a concern.
Keep going if you want.
No, I'm good. I mean, like I said, that's the picture right there. If you zoom in on it, you'll see that the house is actually positioned on top of a hill. So now if he's going to be digging that out, where is all that soil going to be going? Is he going to be filling in the backyard? Is he going to be making his property higher than everybody else? That's an issue.
Okay, we're going to get him to address what you raised.
Okay, and like I said, it's how close it's going to be to that fence. And the easement. There's an easement that goes back there.
Okay, when you say easement, do you mean there's a pipe running underground that has a registered
Actually,
easement on
it's
title?
opened right from the school, and it goes.
Do you mean like a culvert?
Oh, a culvert easement, yeah.
Well,
Goes right through.
an easement is a legal term, which needs to be shown on a survey.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not on his survey. Doesn't even
because
show
it may not be an easement.
Well, it's there. I can tell you it's there.
Well, just because there's a depression doesn't mean that it's an easement.
No, there's water that flows.
Okay. Again, doesn't mean it's a legally set thing.
I thought easements were implemented by the government to run water.
They are, but it just may not be an easement.
Okay.
Anyway,
all right, that's fine.
We'll get into that.
When we purchased the property, we were told it was an easement that carries water.
Do you have a survey?
Not on me, but I do.
No, is it on your survey?
To be honest with you, I'd have to pull it out and take a look at it again.
I would suspect it probably isn't, but that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Do I need to submit that?
No.
No? Okay. No. All right.
Okay. It's not on this survey. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
And we can only go by what we've been given.
Okay, so if I have a copy of the survey and my survey shows that there's an easement, is that something that I need to?
Not at this point.
Okay, I didn't realize I had to indicate.
It's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
No, it's just if you're going to make an accusation, you have to back it up, right? You can't just say.
I'm going by what we were told when we purchased the property,
Okay,
that there
but
was an easement
But we
back
don't
there.
see that, so.
Well, that's okay. That's why I brought it up.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions?
It could just be a culvert.
Okay, so culvert easement.
One has a legal status, the other does not.
Which one is the one that has a legal status?
Easement.
The easement.
Yeah.
Okay, and the culvert, like is a culvert encased or is an easement encased? Somebody can clarify.
It's open and encased at certain points. It's open.
It can be either, but the
Or-
bottom line is then,
okay.
if it's not a registered easement, then it'll be dealt with a building permit process with
Right.
regards to the drainage plan
Okay.
that he'll have to submit.
All right, that's fine. Sorry,
So-
I just wanted
No,
to
no, no,
clarify.
absolutely.
That's all.
Just for your own clarification, so
Okay.
you know that's where you can see what's
Okay,
going on.
that's fine. I appreciate the help
Okay.
there. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Jasdeep Singh? Sorry, no, we're going to get you to come at the end of all of the. No. I've made some notes. You should do the same. Okay. Okay, welcome, sir.
Testing. Good. All right. Good morning. Thank you, Chair, committee members, city staff. My name is Jasdeep Singh. I am the son of the homeowner for 52 LOVILLA Boulevard, which is Onkar Singh. He's currently out of the country, so that's why I'm speaking here today on his behalf. So we've submitted some notes. I'm not going to get into too much detail because I think they are pretty self-explanatory, but I just want to make the distinction that they are on the original 15 requested minor variances. So this is a little problematic. I haven't had the time to review it. Putting it up on a screen, although I appreciate it, I'm going to need some time, right? I think it's only fair, and I think you made that comment during break as well, which I overheard. So I'm just going to stick to the original notes and summarize that, and then I'll let you, Chair, make your decision how you see fit. So I really just want to stress at the end of these notes that the key issue for 52 LOVILLA Boulevard, my father and myself, is that a lot of the calculations made by the homeowner of 54 LOVILLA Boulevard are on a survey that he conducted that's not the original survey, and that indicate that a slither of our driveway is actually his property. So many of the calculations that they put in their documentation is basically making reference to inaccurate measurements. So this actually becomes a land dispute, essentially, where potentially litigation may have to occur because of this disagreement. So I know what you're probably going to ask me is, do I have the original survey? And no, I don't. That's something I'm probably going to have to go to the City of Toronto for to dig up. So I just wanted to kind of stress that importance of that point. The second point is just about privacy. And I know the homeowner of 54 LOVILLA Boulevard has just recently submitted some pictures or images of windows from our house facing his property. But the fact is, we're not opposed to building a home. I think it's only going to help us in property value, but we just have to be respectful of each other's property. The size and the scope of even the garden suite, you got to make sure that that is respectful of the privacy of our backyard and the people behind us. So I just, before the committee today, I just wanted to stress we are sticking with the dimensions provided are based off of undertakings that he's done. And even when he was staking the property, he came or whoever he had hired has come twice to stake property without notifying us. They just simply staked it, didn't have a conversation with us, have marked it now. The driveway is damaged in that area. So that's concerning. So I didn't want to kind of stress that fact, but we had a conversation earlier about easements and cultivars. If you go to almost the last photo in my submission here, I think we are having a problem with what the actual term is, but I will tell you in the late 80s, my father created a cultivar because there was so much water coming from the school property, so it's right there. And that runs right through our property and other properties as well to alleviate the water. So that's another issue, but I don't think that's an issue before the committee today, but it's something I know we take into consideration in other ports. So for today, to summarize, our issue is our property line essentially and the calculations on that, and then just privacy concerns. I wanted to thank the committee for their time, staff for their patience, and chair for your time as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Don't go away.
Okay,
we have some questions.
Yeah.
So the survey that the applicant submitted, are you questioning its validity?
Yeah, just would like to see the original survey. So,
original doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because changes may have taken place since that was done.
Yeah.
So a land surveyor is an independent third-party individual that does the survey.
Yeah.
And we actually like to see the most recent because it would reflect whatever changes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the date on this survey.
Mr. Chair, yes, December 2013 is in the lower left-hand corner.
Okay, left, I was looking in the right, okay. So that's not exactly up to date.
And Chair, if I could make a comment, the way the driveway has been used has been like that for 40 years. There have been many property owners of 54 LOVILLA Boulevard that have come and gone that had never had an issue with this. And so just want to make that clear as well, that this is the way the driveway is positioned, the way it's been used at 52 LOVILLA Boulevard, well over 40 years like that.
Two issues. I mean, a driveway or land may have been used a certain way that doesn't negate the property rights and the property lines.
Mm-hmm.
You have to challenge that in court to change that.
Absolutely, yep.
So, and just to comment on your comment with regards to the surveyor not asking permission, they actually are exempt from having to ask permission. They can go to do a legal survey on someone's property to actually take they shouldn't have damaged your driveway. That's a different issue.
Okay. Yeah, so like staking it, spray painting it?
No, it should not have been staked.
Okay.
That's not our
I know. You're just making a comment.
I'm just making a comment.
Yeah.
I'm going to take all of that into advisement. And,
thank you, sir.
I do want to ask the applicant with regards to the survey and how it is up to date or whether it's not up to date. So,
Yeah.
and thank you for clarifying the culvert issue.
Yes.
So we now understand that that was something that was done privately. So it's
Well, it was done in consultation with.
understood,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not something that'll be registered on anyone's title.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Those are things that those are kind of decisions that were made before my knowledge of it. But I just wanted, and that's the reason why I took the picture and to show it. Yeah.
Very helpful.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anyone have any other questions before you go?
If I could, just a comment, this issue about privacy has come up a few times in connection with garden suite applications. A garden suite is obviously going to create privacy encroachments because it's a housing unit where there wasn't one before.
Yes.
It's a given.
Mhm.
However, what we have to deal with is the severity or extent as reflected in the variances requested on the impact on privacy.
Mhm.
Just to say privacy is going to be affected is not enough. We have to understand or
Yeah.
hear specifically. And I guess the other thing is we all have to know that garden suites are an approved form of housing under the city's expanded. I took a note here because I was going to refer to it. Now it's gone. Expanded housing options. What's the N? EHON. Anyway, the city has said garden suites are a good thing very recently.
Yeah.
Laneway suites are a good thing. 4 suites in every house is a good thing. So the principle or concept of garden suites is a city policy.
Mhm.
And it's our job to make sure that, okay, if anybody needs to vary the dimensions or whatever associated with garden suites are appropriate or not. So
yeah,
that's so privacy in and of itself. Sure, there's going to be privacy issues.
Yeah. So if I
But
can,
how severe?
yeah, if I can respond just to provide some notes on that, if that's appropriate. I have young kids that play in the backyard quite frequently. I have a small basketball pad court. They're there, and from the drawings that I've received or whatever has been provided in the documents that were mailed out, this is a 2-floor garden suite that's going to be elevated a little. So where the window's going to be placed, the sight lines, those are questions I have. Those are concerns I have. Like I said, I grew up in the neighborhood. My kids are now growing up in the neighborhood. So if you want to understand more of the privacy concerns, it's around that.
Okay, I'm looking at the east elevations. There are no windows.
There are no windows? Yeah. So like I said, I'm only going off of what I was provided in the mail.
Okay.
And so.
Yeah, but on the package that we have, east elevations, there's no window. North, there's a very small window, and it looks like that's probably the stairwell.
Yeah. And that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Good, and essentially, I think this is the part of the consultation, and this is a part of talking it out. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
We're good, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Do we have a Joseph Del Rosa?
Joseph Del Rosa is present, and actually Khalid Hazmat has also reappeared on the call, so we can, any or?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll do Joseph Del Rosa first. Joe, you're unmuted, so go ahead. Joe?
Yeah, hello, sorry.
It's all right.
With a 1-year-old or 2-year-old, so, yeah, no, based on what I've heard so far, I have no comments. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Chair, I'm going to go ahead and unmute Khalid Math. Khalid, go ahead.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Hi, sorry, I'm driving.
jeez.
But yes, I heard most of it, so I've been in and out. Again, I don't know if I can add much, but I would say my concern would also be with the, the water in the back easement or whatever it is called, and also privacy concerns. But I don't think I can add much to what has already been said. So it's a sense.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Or?
Mr. Chair, I just want to bring to everyone's attention one more time. There was another area resident that was interested in speaking, Annie Ganty. but they are not present on the call. We did reach out to them and no response back.
Okay, thank you. In that case, we'll ask Mr. Pasquale to come back in. We'll have you come back now.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's take over. Let's talk about number 3, Wallacey. I believe she was talking about a water easement. This is a legal surveyor by a registered Ontario land surveyor. There is no easement, or else it would be.
I think we've clarified that.
Okay, and they can access the Ontario's Surveyors Act allows them to immunity, Section
I
44.
mentioned
okay,
that as
I just
well.
wanted for the record so they know. That's
Yep.
all. So the north side setback has been met, so there is no variance for that.
Setback variance, yeah.
And where is all this earth going? It's going to be hauled off. We're not digging a hole to put it somewhere else on the property, so that's gone. In terms of calculations of the driveway, I want to make clear that the driveway is on my property. That calculation is in mind that the asphalt will be removed and sod will be placed along the property all the way to the street. And the widest point is 6 feet. So they'll be losing 6 feet at the roadside of asphalt, tapering down to the existing house about 1'6". That is in my calculations, of course, for landscaping. So it is my property. I get to enjoy my property, and no one's going to take my property away. Legally or whatever, you want to fight it, I'm ready to go. Okay, they said that. You want to do it? I have no problem. But I'll be putting hoarding up when I build it. I have to put fencing. It'll go on my property. In terms of damaged property, a surveyor put a monument. It's the size of a loonie, and it's spray painted, identified, and it cannot be removed. If they remove it, it's illegal to remove it. If they removed it before, then they're in trouble. If they remove it again, then action, whatever legal action, you cannot remove that. In terms of this water culvert, I'm going to be doing a grading plan, and the surveyor is going to grade the property so water doesn't go on people's property. He just mentioned his father put a culvert. You cannot put a culvert and direct the school's water, as he mentioned, to other people's property. That is illegal. You cannot do that. So he or the owner should have gone to the school. You got a problem, fix it, do the asphalt, do whatever you do to keep the water on your property. So this water is going on. So by his testimony, his father put that culvert, shouldn't have been there, that's draining on everybody's property. And the school will have to be notified that there is a culvert that was placed and water is draining there and affecting the neighbors. And in terms of privacy, I gave you this. I don't know if you have that or not, but on page 2, I took a picture of it, of 23 Wallacey. You're 95 feet from the front fence to the house, and there's trees in the middle. So what privacy is issued? You got trees blocking the back of your house. And the same thing with 21 Wallacey, 81 feet to the fence to their house, and you have to add the 5 feet. So when they say privacy, I don't know what the issue with privacy is. There's trees in the way. There's a shed there. There's trees there. Like, you know, if you're going to accuse somebody, please have some proof. Now let's not throw mud here. And that's really offensive because I'm moving in with my family, 3 kids, 3 boys, all 11 years old, and I want a big backyard for them. And I'm going to move in with my neighbor complaining, and my neighbor, you know what, like they say, tall fences build good neighbors. Thank you. That was enough of my rant.
Okay, don't go away.
Okay.
But you recently had a survey done. Did you submit that survey?
No, I didn't, but it's identical. It is identical. I can prove it. I can send it. It's identical. Nothing has changed.
It would have been helpful to have one that was up to date.
I know, but like, they just pinned it. I said, go there and pin it, basically. So they came out, took a few measurements and stuff like that. But the property doesn't change. The buildings don't change. They just identified the pins, basically. I said, please identify the pins so there's no complaint about where my property is. And I had, many years ago, I had an issue with number 52. Well, I showed them that. I go, this is, my property line goes on the driveway. It's my driveway, you know.
Okay, I don't want to get into all of that. But
I'm just telling you.
I'm just, just curious why, because there was discussions about a survey being done, and then, we're using a 2013 survey, so this would have been nice to have the new one.
I agree, but I just had them come out to pin it and check a few dimensions, basically, because we argued about that where the property line.
So you didn't have a full survey done, you just had certain areas confirmed?
Well, yeah, they just, a few areas confirmed, and it is confirmed with this survey.
Okay.
I can have them update it or whatever, but it's just basically the same one. The building is, the bearings are the same.
That's
the
fine.
grading is untouched.
That's fine. Okay, any other questions? No? Don?
Sir, are you aware of an okay with urban forestry condition 3?
Putting a tree?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Are you aware of an okay with transportation services conditions? There are 3 of them.
I know one of being an electric vehicle energized station, which is normal with new houses, but what are the other 2?
Mr. Chair, we'll put it up on the screen here.
Okay.
The other 2 are?
Again, no, they can't see that well. The owner must provide all the resident parking spaces provided. An energized outlet, clearly marked.
Oh, wait,
Okay, that's fine. Number 1 is fine. Number
Wait,
2.
got them?
Number
Oh, good.
2, the owner must update the following notation on the revised. All portions of existing driveway and curb cut that will be removed and restored. Okay, well, the driveway is perfectly where it stands right now. No curb cut, no issues for that. The new driveway and driveway entrance within BOULEVARD of the site must be built to city standard. We're not building it. It's going to be noted as maintained. It's perfectly in line with my driveway. C, the owner must obtain all permits from the construction activities. So I think it's obtain a building permit. Is that number C? That's the way I read it. So, municipal road deposit. Well, there's no sidewalk there, so okay, they'll get a deposit and I'll get it back, so that's not an issue. Number 3, the owner will be required to submit to site plan such. Oh, no problem. Number 3.
And there's nothing in here but an EV charger.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Oh, number 1.
Yeah. All residential,
Oh, yeah.
brand new builds are, now you got to put a charging station for electric vehicle.
Yep. Okay, good to know.
Okay, if you're proposing to remove part of an existing driveway, i.e. your neighbors, there might be some curb cut issues there too.
No, I'm not touching the curb cut. I'm just going grass. No curb cut. I'm leaving it just the way it is.
Okay. All right, I think any other questions? No?
It'll be noted on the permit drawing, existing curb cut to remain. The grass will come all the way to the street, basically.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
getting my property back. Thank you. Is that it?
Yep. Okay, any discussion? My only general comment is that the revisions are so extensive that it would almost warrant a reposting, but probably should have that discussion at the beginning, so. Anyone else?
Okay, I will. I'd like to move a motion to approve. I think it meets the 4 tests, and then subject as well to the transportation services 3 conditions and forestry condition number 3.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a seconder?
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Donald. All in favor? Okay, you have unanimous approval.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, item 8 is 11 Billingham Road. This is an application for a new dwelling with an attached garage and a secondary suite. There are 9 variances being requested, and see, one of the variances has been corrected in some late additions to the AIC. Transportation has chimed in as okay. We have a letter of objection from 131 Silver Hill Drive, and that's all we've got. So, and the agent is online.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. The agent is present on the call.
Okay, hello.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you great.
Okay. Mr. Chair and other committee members, good morning. My name is Mazhar Raja, and I'm the authorized agent for this file. My office address is 8250 Lawson Road, Milton.
Thank you. Okay, I don't know if we need a full presentation. Is there anyone else here for this item? I'm assuming not.
No, Mr. Chair. No one in the council chamber is present, and no one on the call.
Okay. I've got a couple of questions that maybe the panel members do as well. So if you want to just do a really brief overview, and then we'll ask some questions and take it from there.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Chair. Yeah. This house has the lot front is on the Silver Hill Drive, but the house front is on the Billingham Road. So this is the main reason. Now the right side yard has become front yard. That is why we have a little problem with the soft landscape versus hard landscape, because it is closer to the road. But we kept this new house same way as it was existing. So and all other variances are really minor in nature, which were triggered during the building permit process. Really, all of those are a few inches or a couple of feet, not very serious. I hope everything should be good. If you have any question, I'm here to answer.
Perfect. So on variance 2, what is the current setback? You're saying it's basically the same?
No, not the same, but a little different.
So is it?
We are not asking. Sorry?
Is it greater or lesser than what it is currently?
Okay, I can. Setbacks, we are asking for only one setback, which is
the rear yard.
back. The rear yard, yeah. So because the house is placed this way, and we have really thin built area, so we had to go to the rear side. There was no other choice.
No, understood.
Still, we have left the setback will be still there, which is pretty much good. And that is
so what is it currently?
7.9 meters is still there. Almost 8 meters.
So 958 is now, and we're asking for 7.9.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that was my only question.
7.9 meter we gonna still have it. I think is pretty good, more than 20, around 27 feet is good size of backyard.
Okay, does anyone else have questions? No. Okay, anybody else have any comments? Or are we ready for a motion?
So if I could just ask, sir, what's the nature of the property to the south? I guess it's a Dundas Street West property, big building. What is that?
Dundas Street West?
Yeah.
Uh,
It would be on the north side of Dundas Street West. Oh, I know what that is. That's the old Evans Lincoln Mercury, right?
that's something commercial, yeah.
Sorry? Yeah.
The right neighbor of the property of this property, you mean?
That was Evans Mercury, right? Way back when? Oh, you're all too young.
It says real estate brokerage in front of the property.
Yeah, so they've got commercial to the south and they've got commercial
And
to the
all
west.
others are residential.
The residential is only to the west and to the north. Yep.
To the north is all residential properties.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, and was
Yep.
number 131 that had was letter of opposition. So that's the immediate neighbor. So have you read the letter of objection from 131?
Yes, I went through, but there was no serious issue.
Can you just address what? I'm just trying to see what their issue is.
Let me open that letter, please.
Because they're really the only affected neighbor. Everybody else is remote. Sounds familiar.
So
Have you
they are
spoke-
saying about quality of life, the proposed deviation of the zoning bylaws could significantly impact our privacy. So, Mr. Chair, there will be no privacy issue with respect to any of these minor variances we asking for. So it's a regular house with all permitted windows on each side. There will be no extraordinarily privacy issue. It's the same way as all in the neighborhoods.
Okay. And they're not here to speak anyway.
And even quality of life will be much better than before. It's gonna be a new nice house in the neighborhood. This house is not significantly like bigger house. It's very good, 2,750 square feet house, not big, not small, well fit in the neighborhood. I don't see any concern which may impact the neighborhood.
Thank you. And we note that there are no conditions requested from any city department. Okay.
I'm ready for a motion.
Okay, Ms. Alderson.
I believe this application meets the four tests under the Planning Act and move for approval with no conditions.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
I will second that.
Ms. Popovic, all in favor? Okay, we have unanimous approval. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, before we go to number 9, I just want to bring to your attention, just so you note, the last two folks in council chambers, agent for number 12,
Okay,
agent for number 13.
so I won't have to keep asking.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, number 9, 24 Ambleside Avenue. This is a second-story addition above an existing dwelling and a new 2-story rear addition and new rear deck. The original application had 5 variances requested. That has now been reduced to 3, and we have a transportation report saying that they are okay. Speaker Jonathan Binkowski.
Morning, committee. Morning, Mr.
Good morning,
Chair.
sir. Don't think we need a full presentation. So if you just want to stand by for questions or just give us a really brief overview first.
Yeah, the only one that may jump out is the front yard setback. It's actually maintaining the front yard setback. The reason it is a requirement is because we are removing a portion of the garage and rebuilding it, which now is triggering it. But it is in the exact same location as it exists today in relation to both of the adjacent houses to the east and the west also.
Perfect. Thank you. Ms. Alderson?
I have no questions, and if no one else does, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay.
I believe this application meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act. It's very straightforward, and move for approval with no conditions.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? No, thank you. Okay, all in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 10. We're coming up to noon already. Wow. Okay, 5 SEALCOVE Drive. And this is an application for a new attached garage on the east side of the property. There are 3 variances being sought. I think since then, one of the variances, variance number 3, the agent is saying that they will remove. And transportation has 3 conditions should we approve. And there is an objection. There are a number of, there's 4 neighbors, I think, with letters of objection. Forestry is requesting condition number 2.
Mr. Chair, I want to bring to your attention the area resident at 7 SEALCOVE is present and virtual.
Okay. And Mr. Stambach is the agent. Online, I'm assuming.
Stambach, I'm the agent for the applicant at 15 Moreland Road.
Sorry, can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So my name is Ozran Stambach. I'm the agent for the applicant. I'm at 15 Moreland Road.
Thank you. If you could do a presentation for us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. So I'm wondering how much of your time I should take up before hearing the opposition, because the thing is, like, I've read the opposition letters, and I just want to bring to your attention, I believe there are only 3 people in opposition, and most of them are echoing the points of number 7. But the points of the homeowner at number 7, SEALCOVE, are kind of the typical incorrect interpretation of variances that I'm sure, and you get all the time, and every time I have a committee, I hear them. So I'm wondering, what the proper procedure here is, whether I should refute them now or later. But the essential issue is, I mean, if you read the opposition letters, they're making incorrect assumptions, and they're talking about an as of right structure blocking their window and creating privacy concerns. And they're talking about this while they have a carport right up against the property. And this was actually submitted as a letter by the owner of number 5 Seaclove, which I think does a really wonderful job in refuting all of the personal sentiments in number 7. This is it right here. And actually, if staff could scroll down.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop you from doing the whole spiel because, as you say, we're really looking at 2 variances now. Let me just confirm: you're eliminating the 3rd variance. You're going to supply the charging cords.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we're down to 2 variances, one of which is the width of the driveway. So realistically, we're down to a single variance to do with a canopy.
And that canopy, and this is the incorrect interpretation, that canopy actually doesn't have anything to do with the attached garage. It actually has to do with the canopy over the existing front porch, and that is only because of the front yard setback. And of course, I can get into that in as much detail as you prefer, but
I don't think we need to do that. I think
Okay.
you're correct that we should probably just go to the other deputants, and then we can, have your rebuttal. If you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
All right, super. So, sorry, who do we have online now?
Present on the line is Maria Maxima De Roca. I will go ahead and unmute them. Maria, you are unmuted.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you
Good
all
morning.
hear me? Hi, good morning. I just, I'm really surprised that this gentleman starts by, instead of, presenting his project, accusing us, the owners of 7 SEALCOVE Drive. With all the respect I have for my neighbors, my biggest concern is the blockage of daylight to the only window I have facing the west side. And on their letter, they're saying that my blinds are down most of the time. Of course, this is a bedroom. We need some privacy, obviously.
Most people's blinds are
And when
down.
we're not, exactly. But that's what the excuse is, that my blinds are down all the time. They're down when they need to be down. They're up when they need to be up. And this is one of my biggest concerns. The second biggest concern is the proximity of the garage and the walls and the roof to my property. And these fire hazards, and it will be just so close. It's just hard to believe how close this is to my property line.
Okay, I don't see a variance for the side yard setback. So we really can't address that issue because we can only assume that if there's no variance, it's being built as of right, and it's not something that we can challenge.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that the walls from the garage will block my daylight from that window.
Again, we're in a city, and the city sets certain setback requirements, and if you meet those setback requirements, that's your property right to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is there anything else?
No. I explained what my concerns were.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? No?
It's just one quick question, please.
Sure.
So what will be the type of roof that the garage will have? What will be the, made of and stuff?
I'll leave that up to the applicant to answer if he chooses to do that at the end of this. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Do we have anyone else online?
Nobody else, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so I'll come back to the applicant then. Mr. Stembeck.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So in addressing the concerns of the opposition, the construction of the roof will likely be asphalt shingles. The cladding of the house will be as specified by the owner. But also I would just like to point out that this could be a a two-story wall with quite a bit higher. This is for the benefit of the opposition. I'm saying this. So this is actually a very humble project compared to what it could be. It's very, very, very humble. So that's why I started off my presentation not explaining the project, because to the committee, the project is very clear and very straightforward, and we're going to happily comply with all the conditions of forestry and transportation. We've removed variance 3. I just want you to know, for the sake of your relationship with your neighbors, this is a very, very humble project, and your neighbor is a very humble person. So keep that in mind when they're going to build this garage that is going to help them live their lives. And that's it for me.
Thank you. I'm assuming there are no other questions. No. We'll take it into committee if anyone's ready for a motion.
Sure. I'd like to move a motion for approval. I think it meets the 4 tests, and that would then be subject to the 3 conditions for our transportation services and condition number 2 from forestry.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, you have unanimous approval. Thank you, Mr. Stenbeck. Okay, item 11, and we're into the afternoon. 56 Shaver Avenue South. This is an application to legalize and maintain a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. We have an order to comply. Planning has a requested condition of approval, tying it to site plans and elevations. And we have some non-objection letters, I think, in the last minute materials online. And sorry, you mentioned the agent is in person?
No, Mr. Chair, agents are in person for 12 and 13. Agent for number 11, Khalid Ibrahim, is present on virtual.
Okay. Kaleem, are you there?
So my name is Khalid Ibrahim from IDIM Architects. I am the architect and the agent for this application.
Okay. I don't think we need a detailed presentation, perhaps just an overview. I think there was only one objection. That was number 57. I can't remember what that was, so. Hold on. Shaver. Okay, so this is a situation where this was previously approved and then it's been overbuilt or something like that?
Yes, so what happened is during the construction, the homeowner converted the unexcavated space and under the rear deck to be added to the basement. So it triggers the building length and depth. However, the floors above grade, we meet the permitted building length and depth. So this is one thing. The other thing is there is a bay window at the back. The depth for the bay window was 0.15 meters. So he increased the bay window to 0.8 meters.
Okay, so the building
this
footprint.
Is why the FSI increased.
So
the GFA and the sorry.
The basic footprint of the dwelling was not increased then. Essentially, it was just building on top of what was going to be underground only, and then the bay window. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So the underground, the design was proposed to have an excavated area, but with the slab on grade, foundation wall and slab on grade for the deck, because he wants to add tiles. And then during the construction, he saw the space is big. Then he added to the basement.
Okay.
But above grade, we don't have any building length issues and depth.
So what's your building length excluding that?
It's 16.8. Let me see it here. on the drawings. Maybe if you bring the site plan, yeah, it's 16.87
Okay.
meters.
Yeah, and I'm just going to note that.
Even with the increase,
Go ahead.
even with the increase of the bay window, we're still within the building length and depth,
Okay.
the permitted building length and depth. Yeah.
Okay. And the objector is really just kind of not really objecting to the substance of the application. They just feel that there's an abuse of process. Essentially, that's what they're saying. But
And my client visited them 2 days ago, and he spoke with them, and he explained why the numbers looks big on the application, but actually the house is not that big because everyone looks at the building length and depth. They might think that the building above grade is deeper than what is permitted.
okay,
And
that's
this
fine.
is actually the planning staff mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that's why planning is requesting that we tie this to site plan and elevations should we approve. And you're okay with that?
Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Exactly.
Thank you. I remember it now. Just okay. Thanks. Any questions? No. Anyone ready for a motion?
If there are no questions
Yeah.
from my colleagues, I propose to move a motion to approve, given the explanations that we've received. I think it meets the 4 tests, and I think that the comments made by the opposing neighbor have been addressed by the applicant.
Okay. Condition?
Yes, there are condition number 1 for planning.
Okay. So we're tying it to site plans and elevations as of the date stated by planning. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Bill, thank you. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, sir. Okay, number 12. 36 Westrose Avenue. This is an application to construct a second and third story addition above an existing dwelling. There are 5 variances being requested. We have a previous decision. We have advisory comments from Metrolinx. And our agent is at the microphone.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Mark Lilly, 322 Garden View Drive, and I'm the agent for the applicant, for the owner.
Thank you. Can we get just a brief overview?
Yeah, as was stated, this is a second and small third-story addition over the existing bungalow. 3 of the 5 variances that you see here are actually existing to the existing house. So even if we don't do the addition, those 3 would still remain. And it should be noted also there was another application in 2017 for the same property. It had 9 variances and was approved, but I don't think it was ever built.
Okay. Thank you for the history. That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Anyone ready for a motion? I think we're good.
Okay.
Sure. I'd like to move a motion for approval. I think it meets the 4 tests, and there are no conditions, so it's a clean application.
Okay. Seconder?
I will second.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Flowick. All in favor? Okay. Unanimous approval. Thank you. Okay. Lucky 13. 45 Pettit Drive. This is a application for a 1-story front addition and a new covered front porch, and there is a total of 1 variance being requested. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Am I on? Good afternoon. It's Frank. My name's Frank. This is what they want to do. I'm representing the homeowner.
So you're Frank
Frank Ricciardi?
Ricciardi? Okay.
Yes. And so what they would like to do is there's a front porch, and what we would like to do is bump the front door up to the front of the porch so that when you walk in the house, you're not walking right in front of the steps. And we just wanted to do a little overhang over the front of that new opening.
It looks straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? So essentially, the variance is, it's a coverage. Yeah,
Yes.
lot coverage issue. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, I think the application is straightforward. It meets the 4 tests, and I would move for approval.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Anyone for a second?
I will second it.
Sorry. That was a tie, I think.
I'll give it to Laura this time. Okay, all in favor? Unanimous approval. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, wish they could all be that simple. Okay. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. We'll motor through. So number 14, 21 Louisa Street. This is an application for a 3rd floor addition to,
To accommodate for additional.
Oh, okay. My shorthand I couldn't read. To accommodate 4 additional dwelling units to be created for a total of 10 units. There are 11 variances. There were 11 variances, has now been revised to 10 variances. Forestry is requesting conditions 1 and 2. Metrolinx has advisory comments, and transportation is okay. Number 14, Oksana, online, and no one else? No. Okay, the owner and the applicant, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the last name, sorry, I don't want to mispronounce it. So Oksana, welcome if you're there.
Thank you, I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for hearing the application. I'm here on behalf of myself and my dad. We own the property. We also own the property next door at 19 Louisa, and we were here with a similar application in front of the committee in 2017 for 19 Louisa. Basically, what we're here for to ask is for the 3rd story addition to introduce 4 additional apartment units. We will be maintaining all of the tenants that are currently residing in the existing 6-plex. It's actually a rehabilitation facility, and we will be updating and upgrading all of their units together with the addition. And we have had all the discussions with them, and we're here to ask the committee to allow us for all of the items, which mostly include parking deficiencies and some setback issues. But we're not increasing the floor plate of the existing structure. We're just adding the story. And actually, in one of the pictures that we've provided, you could see the 19 Louisa and what we've done with that building some 6 years ago.
Yep,
Yeah, it looks good. Tie.
Okay, just out of curiosity, how are you going to deal with the tenants during the construction?
So the rehabilitation clinic, they're actually found, they're with us until 2025, so later next year, I believe in August. After that, they have found a temporary facility for about a year, which is how long we need to do the work. And they will be relocating all of their patrons. They help with rehabilitation after surgeries. And then after we do the full renovation and the addition, they will actually be occupying their existing space and all of the additional units.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
No, just a comment. It sounds ideal and very desirable for the development of this particular property. So if no one has any questions, I'm happy to make a motion for approval. I believe this more than meets the 4 tests and move for approval subject to urban forestry conditions 1 and 2.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Oksana. Okay, item 15, 1 MADILL Street. And this is a application for a second-story addition above an existing attached garage. There are 2 variances being requested, and there are no city department comments, and we have 3 people signing a support petition. And Andrew Palumbo is the agent, and
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee and Committee of Adjustment staff. It's Andrew Palumbo of Ian Hall Planning Limited, the agent for this application. I think I could provide a very brief overview and then just leave it to the committee to decide, as this is probably one of the most benign applications I've ever represented before this committee. It's just purely an increase in FSI that's only 2.3%, or like almost 7 square meters above what's required by the bylaw, and a front yard setback variance that's already representative of an existing condition. It's just a technical requirement based on the bylaw language that determines the setback based on averaging. So again, there's letters of support from the adjacent neighbors and no conditions that I've come across from any staff reports. Happy to answer any questions.
I think we're good. Yep.
So if there are no questions, I'd like to move a motion for approval. I think it meets the 4 tests. It's very straightforward.
Thank you, Mr. Galton. Any a seconder?
Second.
I will say.
I'm giving it to Ms. Popovic this time. Okay, all in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, sir. Okay, number 16, 168 5th Street. This is an application for a new dwelling with an attached garage. There are 5 variances were being requested. That has been revised to 4, and one of those 4 has been reduced. We have forestry requesting refusal, or in the alternative conditions 1 and 2. Metrolinx with advisory comments, and an arborist report. We also have on file a previous decision for this property. The speaker, we're back to Mr. Binkowski. Jonathan, are you there?
Hi, committee.
And Jonathan, before you get going into this, I just want, Mr. Chair and members, there is an area resident present virtually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we're going to need a bit of a presentation and an explanation on what forestry is looking for as well.
Yes, so I did want to confirm, I'm not sure, maybe the neighbor's not aware of the changes that were made in terms of the reduction in the FSI, as well as the elimination of the building length variance. So with those changes being made, we essentially have a dwelling that is exactly permitted in the footprint in terms of the front side yard, front setback, rear side yard, sorry, front setback, rear setback, both side yard setbacks, as well as building length.
Yeah,
in terms of forestry.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to confirm that, yes, in fact, the dwelling length variance has been removed and the FSI has been reduced from an ask of 8.88 to 0.78, with 0.6 being as of right. Thank you. Go ahead.
Correct. So when I look at the forestry condition, that I don't know if it was updated based upon the changes for that tree in the rear yard. In the sense of the acceptable kind of practice of forestry, this is a dwelling that, again, is permitted to be in the exact location it is in terms of building length as well as the side yard setbacks. So in terms of forestry's objection, I don't see much merit in that, seeing as, again, the footprint is zoning bylaw permitted. In terms of the eaves, we're kind of in a chicken and an egg here, where the building is permitted to be where it is in terms of the side yards, but then when we take the eve encroachment, that's where we start to have an issue. So a little bit of an issue with the zoning portion there, where maybe that was not thought out that well, because to be zoning bylaw compliant for side yards, you naturally have to have an eve. It then is odd to have, except, yes, unless you do a flat roof. But then we're into a different height requirement of the zoning bylaw. So it's a little bit of a chicken and an egg. Again, in terms of the pedestrian stairs, again, the dwelling is built in line with both adjacent dwellings to the north and the south. There is also a grade change as we come from the front to the rear. We have proposed privacy screening on the side of the deck if committee wish to make that a condition. And I'd be interested to hear what the neighbor has to say.
Thank you. Any questions? No? Okay, so if we can bring the neighbor online, please. James Kern, are you there?
James, go ahead. You're unmuted. James Curran, if you're trying to speak, we cannot hear you at this moment. James, go ahead. Mr. Chair, James is unmuted and he is present.
Can we suggest he log out and log back in again?
Do you want to stay on this item down then? I know we're kind of halfway through it already, unfortunately.
Not overly.
I agree, Mr. Chair. James, go ahead. Try again if you can say hi. Yeah, Mr. Chair. James, just as a note, please don't mute or unmute yourself. City staff will be responsible for that. So James, go ahead. Try now. It's possible that James didn't authorize the use of his microphone, Mr. Chair. So maybe we have him log out and log back in if he'd like to speak here. Otherwise, he can give us a call. He seems to hear us, I think, because he just muted himself again. And whether he's choosing to listen or not is a different story. James, please let city staff mute and unmute you. James, go ahead. You are unmuted now. What would you like to do, Mr. Chair? Ball's in your court.
I'm inclined to go on.
I do have a question of staff, though, so this might take up enough time.
James, if you can log out and log back in and make sure you authorize the use of your microphone, we'll try and get you before we move along.
Well, we'll move to questions of the applicant in the meantime, and then I think Laura has a question for staff. So.
Wonderful.
I do have a question of staff. So we're used to seeing Metrolinx advisories now. They're pretty commonplace, but this one has changed from 300 meters to 1 kilometer. I've noticed that every subsequent advisory is now 1 kilometer and not 300 meters. Do you, I think they're just maybe giving themselves more. That they may have changed it. Yeah.
With the 1 kilometer distance, you're going to half of the housing in Toronto is going to be affected.
But I did notice that at a certain point they went from 300 meters to, I think it's now 1 kilometer. Emissions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or cover their, you know what. It's a cautious approach, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have any questions for the
We have
applicant?
James.
Funny enough, that took us right to, we'll try. James is back.
Okay.
James, go ahead. James, you are unmuted. I see you have logged back in, and you are unmuted. Yeah, Mr. Chair, if James is speaking, we cannot hear him. So James, thank you for trying to log out and log back in and authorize the use of your microphone, but it still doesn't seem to be working. What I would suggest doing is using the phone number you provided us to call in, and we'll be able to get you to have your chance to speak. If you use the 416-225 number you gave us, I'll know it's you, and we can unmute you. So yeah, consider trying calling in. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yeah.
Based on materials, I haven't seen anything in writing, either in support or opposition. Do we know what position this caller is taking?
Sorry, Miss, we do not.
We do not, okay.
Okay, are there any questions pertaining to the application of the applicant? No. Okay. And we've tried James a number of times, and this is why, you know, this virtual business is, I love the old days, just all in person. Anyway, one last check for James. Nothing.
James, are you there? Test for James. Like I said, Mr. Chair, they are present. They did log out and they did log back in.
Okay.
I can only imagine they authorized the use of your microphone.
Okay, well, there could be technical issues on either side, so.
Yeah, and they are unmuted right now. So if they are speaking, you know, we can't hear them. That I'm unaware of. I'm not sure if they're trying to call in or not right now. I do not have a call-in user on my list yet, though.
Okay, if we can take this into committee then. Any discussion, or if anyone's ready for a motion? Just a footnote on Metrolinx. Some of today's items actually have conditions as well as advisory, but we're still going to treat those as advisory because we're not imposing Metrolinx conditions. Yeah. So we'll just advise the applicant that Metrolinx is requesting conditions. That's all we can do. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm ready to move on this one.
Okay.
I'm satisfied the application meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act. You've already advised the applicant about the Metrolinx advisory, so it's not a condition, but again, just put that out. And I'm gonna make it subject to urban forestry conditions and just leave it like that, because our protocol is when there's a conflict in comments from urban forestry, we let staff sort it out. And in this case, in the consolidated memo, urban forestry offered as alternatives to refusal, conditions 1 and 2. And then in a freestanding memo dated March 7th, they only cited or requested condition 1. Yep. So I will say my condition is urban forestry conditions /S.
Okay.
I'm happy to second that motion.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Mr. Binkowski. No, where are we? Yes.
2 to go.
Oh, wrong one. Okay, sorry. Number 17. Number 17. 37 Primrose Avenue, an application for a garden suite in the rear yard. There are 7 variances originally requested. That has been revised now to 4, and one of those 4 has also been reduced. Planning is okay, and Metrolinx again has advisory comments. Well, we're going to have a lot of Metrolinx then. And urban forestry conditions 2 and 3. The speaker for this application is Paige Ritchie, and online.
Hi, committee members. This is Paige Reisha. I'm the applicant and designer for this application.
Welcome. I'm not sure if we need a full presentation, but perhaps if you can just do a brief overview, and then we'll see if there's any questions.
Yep. So we did hear from planning a couple weeks ago, and we were asked to revise the design to bring the landscaping in the rear yard up to as close as we could get to 50%. So that involved removing the wood platform that we had at the back. So that's been completely removed, which removed 3 of the variances. And then the final variance was for landscaping, which is now 49.5%.
So close.
Sorry.
You're so
And the
close.
property is,
Sorry.
yeah, so close, I know. And the surrounding properties are, there was one at the back and one on the side that's apartment buildings. So those are the sides that are affected by the angular plane, which planning was okay with giving these variances for those reasons. We also received verbal support from the adjacent neighbor at 39 and the neighbors at 49 Primrose.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
If no one has any questions, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Please.
First of all, I want to congratulate you, Paige, on a great design. I think it's fabulous. And I just want to add that, you know, we need more of these, and we need them designed well. So you're off to a great start. So thank you for that. So subject to urban forestry conditions 2 and 3, I move for approval because I believe this does meet the 4 tests and certainly is a desirable use of this land.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Alderson. Seconder?
I'll second that motion. And I'd also like to nominate the applicant for an award for the minorest minor variance of the year, number 7.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Was that a friendly amendment?
Just some friendly comments. Seconded by Mr. Taylor. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you. Okay, number 18, 20 NAVENBY. Yeah. Okay, to create a secondary suite in the existing dwelling, there is a total of 1 variance being requested. Andrew Trotter is the agent, and Mr. Trotter, are you online?
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So again, just a brief overview. I don't think we need a full presentation here.
No. Just a few square meters in the basement made up a little bit more space for the thing. So the base of the basement suite.
Okay, any questions? No?
No, and if there are no questions, none?
Go for it.
Seeing none, then I'll move a motion. I think the application meets the 4 tests. It's very straightforward, and I'd vote for approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Approved unanimously. Thank you to the applicant. And we're adjourned for the morning.
So, Mr. Chair, yeah, do you want to start the afternoon session at 2? Give us an hour and change for lunch.
That'd be great.
And that way, and then, okay, great. So the afternoon, so everyone who's on the call so far for the 1 p.m. session, we're going to start it at 2 p.m. We will start doing a microphone check at approximately 1:45. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. And we're actually only over